ya kwamba it's another chance for you to complete your assignment, okay? Mungu haizi kubali uamke tu kama you have nothing to do. So make sure that the moment you wake up, again, as we always say, start with gratitude. Find 3 things that you're grateful for, write them down, and then move ahead, talk to God, okay? Mwambie, leo kuko hivi na hivi na hivi, this and this and this is what I'm going through, so guide my day. Na pia ask him that ukwe in his will. Isikuwa unafanya vitu tu just for the sake of, but in everything making sure that you are in his will so that you can be able to move forward and pursue your destiny, a purpose-filled life, okay? Usikuwe tu unaishi tu just for the sake of unasema unaenda na flow. Wewe itakubeba mahali pabaya sana. In a place where you can't have a comeback, like hakuna venye unaweza jirudisha. So make sure that in everything you put God first, show gratitude in everything that you do, and also remember, tunasemanga compliment someone next to you. Usikuwe na wivu. Kama your colleague amekuja na nywele yake inakaa fiti, mwambie na hiyo nywele inakaa fiti. Kama umepatana na mtu amevaa vizuri, mwambie nguo inakutoa vizuri, okay? Just show kindness each and everywhere you go. It is free. Usikuwe wewe ndo wa makasiriko unaenda hey, the Kikuyu in me. Spread. Yeah, I'm from Central. So, usiende spread bad energy and negative energy everywhere that you go, okay? So today being the 28th of January 2025, it's another beautiful day, just as I've said. And we're going to have a very, very amazing conversation, okay? As we started the year, tumekuwa na conversations around shaping the rest of our year when it comes to relationships. We started off with forming healthy relationships. We came into vision boards and goal setting. We came to the last week's conversation about decluttering and cutting off people, and we talked about the criteria ya cutting off people. Na tukasema si kuamka tu nasema msichana ni bo, acha tuneche kumongelesha. You need to know the why, okay, and the how. Don't just be doing things unamko unasema umse na feel ananibo, labda anakuboju hakukupea hiyo 2K yenye ulikuwa unataka urgently na hakuwa nayo, angefanya nini na hana access to that money, okay? So as you're cutting off people, as you're separating yourself from people, try and figure out, is this relationship that we are having, is it toxic? Kama ni toxic, there's a different approach to that, which we talked about last week. Now, if you unfortunately missed that show, don't worry, we've got you. And then kwa YouTube, MBCI YouTube official, kwa playlist ya Relationship Tuesdays, ama the Relationship Talk Show, utapata that particular episode. It is very, very important for you to look at it. Now, today marks the last Tuesday of January. We talked about vision boards. Na tuka break down how you're supposed to set them, the goals, the everything, how you're supposed to make a vision board look like. I'm hoping ya kwamba uko na hiyo vision board, okay? It's going to set the pace for the rest of the year. And now that you're coming to the end of January, just tafadhali, make sure umeitengeneza. Na kama you have no clue what we're talking about, again, we got you covered. So end up on YouTube, try find that video, watch it so that you can catch up with what the rest have been learning. So yeah, amazing. So let's have a quick run through of what we're going to be discussing today. So we have a very, very amazing topic. Again, it's a topic that imekuwa ikishika sana for a very long time on social media. Probably you've heard of the term, ama you even are familiar with it and you know what we're talking about when we mention this, okay? So the topic that we're going to discuss today is on gaslighting and manipulation. Okay, gaslighting and manipulation, a very, very hot topic, especially when it comes to relationships. Unasikia mtu akisema, acha nikwambie msali ni gaslight, msali ni manipulate, lakini probably you're just dishing out terms. You don't even know the meaning of gaslighting, but julisikia kitumika in a similar context. Najambia, wacha hata mimi nitumie kwani what's the harm? But again, it's not wise to go dishing out words without knowing their actual meaning. So today we're going to discuss gaslighting. We're going to discuss manipulation in terms of all relationships. Because we know gaslighting can happen in any setup, okay? In a family setup, in a relationship setup, in a workplace setup. So we're going to look at all that. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Ndio tukuje karibu tuweze kujifunza gaslighting ni nini, manipulation ni nini, and how can we make sure that we steer away from it, okay? Ama how to recognize those signs. Mtu ukisema mtu anakugaslight, hizo signs umeziona kweli ama you just, building blocks in the air, ama castles in the air of gaslighting yenye hai happen. Sawa sawa? And that will help us in forming relationships and the interactions that we're going to have with each other this beautiful, beautiful year, okay? After the conversation, we're going to have the relationships. And then after that, we're going to have Did You Know? And then we are going to finish with the beautiful, beautiful songs. Remember, today is on a Tuesday, so it's African Tuesday. If you have any African song that you would like to request, make sure you send them in using our number 0721 105 105. That is WhatsApp, and also normal text message 23814 short code, which is absolutely free. And also MBCI TV Facebook page, down down in the comment section, and MBCI YouTube official down in the comment section, and we will be playing those songs right here. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started on today's conversation. So let us get the guest profile so that we can know who we are having today as we get started. Maybe before we get the guest profile, we can pick the question of the day that you guys can help us engage in. Okay, so the conversation, kumbuka tulisema ni gaslighting. So swali ni, have you ever experienced gaslighting, and share your experience. So for those who know what gaslighting is, tuambie, ushai experience gaslighting? Na kama uli experience, ebu tuambie, your experience ilikuwaje? What actually happened? You don't have to give us names. You don't have to give us your name. Kama unataka tutupe ID kule Mombasani, tutaitupa. We don't have to share your actual name. So just share with us your experiences so that we can help each other. We are one big family, and we need each other, okay, so that you can be able to grow. And also you can follow MBCI TV and radio across all social media platforms, okay. And as we said, MBCI is a big family comprising of TV and radio. So if uko hapo nyumbani, ama maybe you're about to leave for work and you can't follow through with what is happening on TV, you can tune into the radio. There's an amazing show that is happening right there. Kuna Matreo, utapatana naye Double M, na Dada Ena, na Chela la Kwetakcheso, okay. And also there is timely news for you, so that you can be in the know, like what is happening, what are other people doing, what if you're praying for the country, what are we praying for specifically. So make sure that you tune in for so much more. And remember, my social media handles are at official Sylvia Wanja. You can always reach out and we can have a conversation right there. So without further ado, let us get the guest profile, then get started on today's conversation.
Grace Wairimo is a visionary leader and the founder of Grief Uncensored KE, a transformative platform dedicated to supporting individuals navigating the complexities of grief and loss. As a psychologist and specialized counselor, Grace brings a wealth of knowledge and compassion to her work, creating safe spaces for healing and emotional growth. Her passion for helping others stems from a deep understanding of the emotional challenges faced during times of loss. Through her counseling, Grace empowers individuals to process their grief, find resilience, and embrace hope for the future. Her commitment to this vital area of mental health has made her a trusted figure in her field. Grace's work with Grief Uncensored KE is a testament to a dedication to breaking the silence around grief and fostering a supportive community where individuals can find solace and strength. Her leadership and expertise continue to impact lives, offering guidance and healing to those in need.
Amazing. So in the house with us, we have none other than Grace Wairimo. Hello.
Hi, Sylvia. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
We're so excited to have you this beautiful morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's not the first time we are having you. We had you sometime last year where we were talking about grief and loss and caregivers, how they face it, and they don't have anyone to talk to, anyone to turn to. And there was even an event that was coming up. So how did the event go?
The event was successful.
Wow, we thank God.
Yeah.
Amazing. So today we're talking about something different other than grief. Maybe for those who were not able to tune in last time and know what specifically unafanya, maybe you can share with them the issues of grief and loss and your experience with it before we get started.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Mpenzi mtazamaji.
Yeah.
My name is Grace Wairimo. I am a counseling psychologist.
Yeah.
I'm also a certified grief educator and consultant. About 10 years ago, I lost my mom. I first lost my mom to cancer, breast cancer. Yeah. And as a family, a lot of things changed because our mother and I hold everything in their home.
Yeah, very true.
And later on, as a result of that, we lost my dad. 3 years later, he was admitted in hospital for 10 months, and he was because of financial issues, because he began to develop health issues as a result of grief.
Yeah.
And the loss of my mom and the fact that he had spent a lot of money and mom had not recovered, she had passed on. And so 3 years later, my dad passed on, and he was admitted in hospital for 10 months. And because we were not able to lay him to rest, he stayed at the morgue for 9 months.
9 months?
Yeah.
Why? That's a very long time.
That's a very long time. And we, as my siblings and I, we count it as 2 years. And so as a result of that, kila mtu we are 4, where I have 2 brothers and 1 sister and myself.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I was thrown into something. I was a primary caregiver to the both of them. And a primary caregiver basically means I sleep in the hospital, I take care of them, I ensure they are well fed. I sometimes I'm their therapist. Sometimes I will talk them through. Sometimes you see that they are grieving.
Yeah.
I was actually in a different field when my dad was passing on in 2018. And as a result of that, I was thrown into something called complicated grief. I had never heard of that.
It was a new term.
It was a new term.
Yeah.
I had never dealt with mental health issues. And as a result of my father's passing on and the strain that was as a result of my mother's death, his death as well. After 8, I grieved for 8 years. I literally, there's also, when it comes to grief, there are so many terms.
Yeah.
So I had complicated grief, I had mass grief. Yes, I could work, but behind the scenes, everything I would get in the house and I would break down for 8 years, and I was able to mask it.
Yeah.
So I did go for counseling, and I eventually began, because I felt grief and caregiving was an area that had never been looked at for 8 years. Yeah, I felt even church didn't understand me, because I will meet someone and they will tell me, Nasi, you're very lucky. There's somebody who is at a children's home, they've never met their mom, but this person doesn't understand reality yangu may change, that I will have milestones in life that my mother will not be available. I will have milestones in life that my dad will not be available, and this I have to learn to live without these people for the rest of my life. And how does my brain accept that? How does my spirit, my heart, like my whole being, how will it accept that I've lost my parents and I have to pick up myself and continue with life? And the journey ya ku accept that the loss of a loved one, it's not, sometimes who assume that once we lay that person to rest, then that family has healed. And it took me such a long time, and from that space, in that season of my life, I remember around 2018, I developed a heart condition as a result of the 2 deaths. And one day I had given up, I had stopped working. And I remember walking, I felt the Holy Spirit, because I am a believer. I felt the Holy Spirit lead me to just sit outside. And I remember there was such a beautiful moon. I have never seen such a moon before.
Wow.
And I remember sitting there, and I had literally God telling me, I am going to use your story.
Wow.
This depression will not kill you. There is nothing, there is no part of your story that I'm not going to use. And I was in a very different field. And I remember wondering, how will this story be used? How will I tell people I've dealt with suicidal ideation? And God affirmed me in that moment. And now I began to know God as a father. And I've seen God walk with me through that grief. I have taken courses on grief, caregiving, so that I can also be a lifeline to people who have lost their loved ones and they don't have anybody to communicate to. And so I hold spaces. I remember the last time I was here, I told you what I do is a calling, because I was in a different field. I'm actually a trained mechanic. I was working in a company here in Nakuru. Yeah, I'm a
and you had to make a shift.
I had to make a shift.
Very big shift.
Because I was actually now going into entrepreneurship, and God told me, I need you in the mental health field. And that is how everything changed. And I had to learn now to listen to God, to hear from God, and ask God from this point on as my father, what do I do? Where do you want me to learn? What spaces do you want me to go? What spaces do you want me to be in? And that is how I became a grief educator, a psychologist, and that is how Grief Uncensored KE was born. It first began as an event.
Wow. And then with time.
And that event was, I remember I was praying about something. And I remember hearing the Holy Spirit tell me, I want you to hold an event at a certain place. I want you to hold it at a certain date. It was a day after my dad's birthday. And I want you to charge this amount. And I want you to bring hearts that are grieving together. I had never heard of Grief Uncensored before. So it was in my prayer time. I was journaling. I think it was around 2 a.m. in the morning. I was journaling, I was writing, and I was praying for a specific thing that I really needed God to do. And he told me, I want you to do this. And I really ran away from it.
Like, it's too much pressure.
It's too much
I'm
pressure.
not ready for it.
Yeah, I'm not ready for it. Can't you find somebody else
to do it? Like, you have so many other people you can pick, but me.
Yeah.
So like, why does it have to be me?
Why does it have to be me?
Yeah.
And one day, as I was walking, I was heading somewhere. Yani ile chum nilipitia, I came right outside where the Holy Spirit had led me to hold the event.
Wow.
And from that event, I remember I shared my grief journey. And I remember a month later, somebody who had attended wrote to me and told me they had been struggling with suicidal ideation. They had actually attempted to die by suicide.
What?
And my story had, to this day, that person is still alive. We had and they told me I'm not going to get to a certain age, and I told them, as long as you have met me, you're going to get to that age.
You're going to make it.
That person is still alive to this day. So when you ask me about what is the success of an event, the success of every Grief Uncensored event is how many lives have been impacted. Yeah.
I think that is all that counts.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a very, very nice, amazing story.
Thank you.
Now, maybe we can dive into now the conversation that we're having today. And the conversation is, I think we're going to find a different time to call you all together because of grief and loss, because you have vast knowledge on it.
Yeah.
And you can help talk to viewers back at home. You can maybe help impact them, because I know a lot is happening mental health. But let's get into the topic of today, gaslighting and manipulation. Najua tu nyumbani wanajiuliza hii gaslighting ni nini? Unajua kuna mtoto alikuwa anasema hii gaslighting ni kuwasha gas. So let us clarify that and let them know. Si kuwasha gas. So maybe we can start with the definition of the term gaslighting and manipulation.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, for the viewer mwenye ako nyumbani anafikiria kuhusu kuwasha gas. Let me tell you where the term was borrowed from psychologically. So there was a play by Patrick Hamilton in the year 1938. In 1938. And kwa hii play, it's a play. It's not something that happened. It was something that will later be borrowed in the psychology field. So in this play, these actors, there was an actor and an actress. So this actor angewasha gas knobs, and then the wife angewasha gas knobs, and the husband in the play angepunguza the gas knobs. And then the wife would say, "Easy gas knobs inakaje?" And then the husband now in the play angemwambia, "Easy gas knobs zimefanya nini? Ziko sawa." And so in 1940 and 1944 it became a film. And so when I looked at this term, I just said gaslighting. And so that is where it was borrowed in the psychology field. Now it became a term that is used, gaslighting. So for anybody mwenye anafikiria, it came from somewhere, and then it was borrowed into psychology, and it was also borrowed
Central is calling.
Central is calling. And now it was borrowed in our culture, and that is how it was adopted. And so what this person was doing, walikuwa wana change. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse. You know, we are so used to physical abuse. Kuna financial abuse, kuna sexual abuse, and then now we have the emotional abuse, because emotional abuse is very subtle.
Something that is out there.
It's not out there. It's not like a wound yenye mtu atakugonga and utakuwa na a red eye. And so these are somebody will change your reality. Somebody will change atakwambia kitu ita change memory yako, na atakwambia kitu yenye ita change ama atafanya jambo ambalo lita change perception yako. Even how you view yourself. You can get into a relationship and you're like, Mimi, I cannot deal with a toxic person, and as life will have it, utakutana naye. And vile ulingia kwa your relationship with a very with a great self-esteem, perception yako utajipata imebadilika. Yeah, and so when you asked me to marry the two, so I want the viewer to understand that manipulation is when someone is trying to control or influence another person, often by kudanganya or tricking them into getting what they want. Unadanganya or you're tricking somebody into getting what you want. But for gaslighting, it is a type of manipulation. Yes, it's a type of manipulation. It is a type of emotional abuse. But this is where somebody makes you doubt. Tumesema kuhusu reality, memory, perception. Unaweza ambia mtu ulifanya kitu na aseme sikufanya. You can tell somebody, I saw a message, and they are like, that was my cousin.
That was my cousin.
That was my cousin. Naibaki hivo. And that, like, utafikiria you're mad. And they will even, some go to an extent ya kukuonyesha the cousin. And yes.
And it's not the cousin.
It is not the cousin. But
they want to change reality, the way you perceive things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
So I want to also ask to look at from a parental and a child dynamic, because the last time I was here, I told you what happened to us. Sometimes tunaangalia manipulation and gaslighting from the perception of just relationships, but do you know it comes from somewhere? Because this person is gaslighting. They borrowed it from an environment, and again, environment huwa inatu shape, and so. From a parental and child dynamic, it can look like mzazi anaku guilt trip. Nilikusome, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm also not sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry.
It's very popular.
You know, we have people who are not able to go home because nilikusomesha na hakuna pesa ya kulima, and then you
pay pesa.
Haunipei pesa, and it could be that person is dealing with mental health issues. Pengine hata mtoto ako nyumbani, but you're told nilikusomesha nilikusomesha na sasa you're not able to give, and maybe you're helping this parent, and maybe you're the only child in that family mwenye is able to help, and you are helping, unasaidia, you're sending money home, but enyewe hata hiyo mahindi upati. Let's just be honest. And then tuko na exaggerating or lie to make the child comply. Let's just be honest. We are Africans. We have people who exaggerate stories.
Very true.
And we have parents who lie. And for you to be able to heal, you just need to be honest. Ati kabisa, my parents lies, and they exaggerate stories, and so that is a form of gaslighting and manipulation. And another thing, emotional blackmail. Kabisa mzazi anaku emotionally blackmail properly. And then you have denying events. For example, you unaweza, let's be honest, it's very difficult kuambia mzazi amekukosea in our African setting.
Actually, just don't say it.
You don't.
Achana tu nayo.
Wachana nayo tu hivyo. And so we have parents who deny events. And when a parent denies events, if you find yourself in a relationship, where you are involved with somebody mwenye ana deny events, you will not be able to speak up because it first began from somewhere. And then we have parents who shift blame. Kabisa, huyu mzazi amekosea, but anasema wewe kama mtoto ndio umekosea. We have something in psychology inaitwa scapegoating a child. We have people who scapegoat children wenye hawakai kama hao, wenye hawana talents kama hao. We have parents wenye wanaambia wanna destroy self-esteem ya watoto wao. Children don't have boundaries. We have parents where children write their diaries, and a parent, it's good kuiangalia as mzazi, but a parent can pick that diary na aitumie kutukana huyu mtoto.
And that is bad.
That is very bad. And also we have guilt. Kabisa mtu anaku guilt trip. Kabisa mtu anaku guilt trip. And then we have parents who invalidate their children's feelings, and unaambiwa una overreact, ama unaambiwa stop kukua sensitive. But I usually tell people, if Jesus felt the pain, why shouldn't you feel the pain? Because we have so many emotions that God created in us. Sylvia, I usually say those emotions are to be felt. And so that is gaslighting and manipulation from a parent-child perspective.
So you're saying it stems from the childhood. This person when you and grow up to gaslighting people and manipulating others to have their way, and to make sure that they assert their dominance. Inatoka kutoka kwa utotoni, the experiences they have in childhood. So it is very important for a parent to really be careful how you're raising our children. I just say in the near future, the Gen Zs ndo tutakuwa wazazi. Sasa swali ni hili. Are we willing to change the patterns that have been there before? Yeah, we do things in a different way so that we can create a better generation that is to come. So now that we know what gaslighting and manipulation is, kwa wale ambao walikuwa nasema gaslighting wanaona ni kuwasha gas, okay? So tumepata the clarification that it's not it. When it comes to gaslighting, nile mtu anajaribu kuchange perspective yako, anafanya reality yako ikae ni kama wewe ni kama ukuna shida kidogo, unapata text, unamwambia text nani wamekutext, akwambia ni cousin, na ana make sure akwambia ni cousin na utaamini ni cousin hata kama unajua si cousin. Ana change your reality, you start believing that's the cousin. And that's just but an example, but examples are so many. If you've even experienced it from parents, this is where maybe we can pick the question one more time. Just as tumeelewa the meaning of gaslighting, you can share with us your experience without having to mention your name. I'm mentioning any name. If you want it to remain anonymous, that's well and good. So have you ever experienced gaslighting? You can share with us your experience. Have you ever experienced gaslighting? Share with us your experience, and you can do that using our numbers 0721 105 105, that is WhatsApp, and also normal text message 23814 short code, which is absolutely free, and also MBCI TV Facebook page down in the comment section, and MBCI YouTube official down in the comment section, and we will be reading that feedback right here, so don't shy away. Okay, let us get to talk and share our experiences together. A problem shared is a problem half solved. So share with us. Itakuwa half solved, but again, there's another half that you need to work on so that you can become better, okay? And we'll be getting to know that as the conversation continues. So maybe when it comes to gaslighting, venye tu tumesema before, like emotional abuse is different from physical abuse. Ile yenye utaona like huyu amepigwa, kona black eye, kona all that. Emotional abuse is more hidden, like it can be seen with the naked eye. So why do you think that it's very hard for someone to notice akigo through gaslighting ama manipulation from maybe a friend or a potential partner?
Okay. Yeah. First of all, we have normalized it.
It has become okay.
It's become normal, and you know why we have normalized it? It's because that is what we grew up to kiona.
So we assume that's how life is supposed to be.
We assume that is how life is supposed to be, and then we grew around it. Grew around your environment. Yeah. Not everybody, but most people, and then kuna shame around it.
Yeah.
And then, like, you just, because shame is a very strong emotion, like, how can I be gaslit?
Yeah, like, so you will rather just assume it's not happening rather than face it and acknowledge that this person is trying to emotionally abuse me and I need to stand up for myself. Yeah,
and the reason why you're doing that is because you are afraid, you are afraid of losing this person.
So be it a parent, be it a partner, be it a friend, you're like, I'll rather just have the warmth of having them around rather than confront them for trying to manipulate.
Exactly. Because when God created us, Ali to create for connection.
Yeah.
So you will be afraid of losing this person. Kabisa, you'll be afraid. And because of that, you'll be quiet. And then again, apart from normalizing it, emotional attachments. Because we are emotionally attached human beings.
Yeah.
Because if you lose this person, you lose a part of you. Social circle yako ina change.
Yeah.
You will feel it physically. Your heart itaanza kudunda. Kupalpitate.
Yeah.
You might want to call this person, and you're like, wait, wacha nirudishe simu. And so those are among the reasons why. And also how you pia brain yako, because you're not used to living this without this person. How do you live without them?
So you're like, I'll rather just put up with.
I would rather put up with this because I saw my father go through it.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, wacha to see, assume it's from one perspective. I saw my mother go through it, and sometimes it's a generational trauma, and because you have never seen anybody break that glass ceiling, you don't know how to break it.
So it just keeps recurring.
It keeps recurring over and over, and we also make excuses for these people, and we hope that they are going to change.
But in the long run, they end up not changing, because it's not coming from them. It's coming from you. You're the one who wants them to change, but it's not coming from them. Okay. And what are some of these signs that someone is trying to manipulate or gaslight you? Maybe someone is watching at home, who gaslight watu, lakini ajui, naona ni life, like mi niko sawa, like this is how I live life. So what are some of the signs that someone can see, ajue, hapa hivi ni kama wana gaslight watu, ama hapa kuna venye na gaslightiwa ama na manipulatiwa?
So we'll have a very common example that you get into a relationship and this person isolates you from your friends, from your family. Your life becomes centered around them. And so they can manipulate you and gaslight you without you will not be able to speak na mtu huku nje,
because you have been isolated.
Because the only voice unasikia ni ya nani? Ni yake.
So that is a sign that you should be careful of. The moment someone wants to have you
wewe peke yako,
like stay away from your friends, your family, all that. Because there is nobody, even if you have two friends, wote hawana majibu the same. True. They have varying opinions. And so the other thing that happens is your interaction with them becomes very exhausting. Like, okay, imagine you're going to have a conversation with this person. Look like, no.
And then there's something else I also say. Your nervous system. Yani ukiwa around this person, you are anxious. You are not sure of yourself.
And what's the difference between anxiety and butterflies in the stomach? Because, you know...
butterflies are, nitajaribu make it in a very simple terms. Kuna butterflies are good, but anxiety, it's your nervous system in a react, like your gut feeling. I usually say gut feeling, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is a red flag. So
your intuition.
And butterflies when you're beginning a relationship, and anxiety when this becomes sour, there is a difference, because like your gut feeling itakwambia, because with anxiety comes inakuja kuswe. That's why nimekwambia, like emotionally it will be very exhausting to deal with this person. Like utaanzanga tu kusikia mwili yako, like I don't want to meet them.
I can't do it.
But because you're also people pleasing and you do not want to lose this person, and so you just unajipata that you're settling
in a place where you shouldn't settle. And you've talked about some of the signs. You've talked about they're isolating you from other people. What are some other signs that this person clearly is trying to gaslight you, to manipulate you?
The person will shift the blame.
Anytime there's an issue, it's you.
It's you.
You're the problem.
You're the problem.
Okay.
And the person go silent. There are people with silent treatment. There is an issue in the relationship. Ama ni mzazi, and the person goes silent on you. And so you're begging them to speak to you until now, when they will feel, until when you will apologize.
So that you can have a conversation.
So that you can have the conversation.
So that's another form.
That's another form.
And when you've mentioned something very important, silent treatment, is that a very good way to solve conflict? Because again, kuna tunasemanga mimi nakuanga na anger issues. If I decide to solve this right now, unajua blows will go left, right, center. So like, wacha tu ninyamazie, nitulie, alafu tutajua maneno.
Okay, so when it comes to silent treatment, kuna ile ya ku calm down, to just withhold yourself, and ground yourself to a space where you can solve this issue. But kuna ile Sylvia mtu anakunyamazia 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 days, hasemi kitu, and because you desire connection, you have to apologize and speak to this person. silence is good, but pia you can use silence as a weapon, as an emotional weapon. Because if you love somebody, you will make space for them. If you create time, you will create time for them. You will talk to them. You will ensure that they feel seen, they feel valued, they feel wanna feel like au ni watu. But some people use, and also when it comes to silent treatment is again where were you brought up from? Uliona issues zikiwa solved aje. So sometimes we solve issues in a way that tuliona zikiwa solved, and sometimes tunafikiria by being silent tuna resolve by but it could be this person has an anxious attachment style and they need constant communication.
Constant reminder.
So what you're doing is actually you're breaking their self-esteem. You're also making them question themselves. Wow. So it might be comfortable na wewe kukua silent, offer silent treatment, but it will not be comfortable na huyo mtu mwingine.
So again, communication is important. So as much as you're taking your time off to be silent, also give it time. Sifike point hata wewe unakuwa wendo na gaslight wengine ama una manipulate others. And again, venye tumesema, it happens within the environment. That's why you pick up certain habits and behavior. So you could be back at home and you have no idea that you gaslight people. You have no idea that you manipulate people. Now this show is meant to shed light. Ndo kama unajua kuna tatizo hapo, you figure out a way to fix it. Kama unajua kuna shida, kuna utata when it comes to how you interact with others, probably you've had one or two people tell you, by the way, you're a manipulator, ama you love manipulating, ama unajua kuna wengine they take it as a trophy. Akiambia you're a gaslighter, yeah, that's how I survive. Maybe you're a manipulator, yeah, that's me. Wachana na mimi. That is not how you're supposed to live with other people, okay? We said forming healthy relationships this year, that's a resolution. So if you have an issue when it comes to gaslighting people, manipulating people, this is where you figure out how you change, okay? And you become a better version of yourself. That's all we want to fight for this year. See kungangana na zile vitu zenye ni mbaya, okay? Amazing. So have you ever experienced, maybe if you're comfortable with sharing, a situation whereby someone has gaslit you or tried to manipulate you, and how did you handle that situation?
As long as you're a human being,
lazima.
Utakutana nayo. So yes, I have. And at first I didn't recognize it. And I often felt confused.
You were like,
is this what I'm thinking, or
I'm overthinking. I'm just like, wacha tuniachane nayo.
And I doubted my own feelings. I really did. I was like, apana.
Overthink like I always do. Like,
overthink. And so I have, and I felt it was my fault. And I even blamed myself.
Oh, and that's bad.
If
you get to a point whereby you even start like you're against yourself. That is terrible.
I actually got to a point where I gaslit myself. I am the one with the problem.
It becomes a loop. You gaslit, and then you gaslight yourself.
You begin to gaslight yourself. And then remember, we've talked about what happened to you. And so like that is where everything came from. Like so,
that is where you pick up such habits.
You pick such habits. So really I have been.
Okay. And how does someone handle a situation if they have discovered that someone was trying to gaslight them or manipulate them? How do they approach that particular scenario?
So first of all, pay attention. Do actions za huyu mtu na words, do they matter?
And are they going hand in hand? What they say and what they do?
What they say and what they do. Do they and when they do, recognize it.
See it for what it is.
See it for what it is.
Yes.
Anyone who knows me, I usually tell people, grieve about it. Ukisha recognize, grieve about it.
Apo na apo. Just Cry your heart out.
Cry. If you are a crier, please cry.
Yeah. If you're a writer, write.
If you're a writer, write about it so that it can get off your system. And I'm really sorry to tell our viewer, it happen in a day. I don't have 5 tips.
Yeah, on how to make sure that you're healed
On how
and
to
ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a journey. And you have to be patient with yourself.
Yeah.
And then talk to somebody. Talk to some. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase what nimesema.
Yeah.
Talk to a safe space.
You can't just talk to everyone.
You can't just talk to everybody.
True.
Because we already tumesema we have normalized it. So I might open up. Somebody might open up to a friend, and then this friend will be like, "Nasi alikubaya simu."
Silikubaya flowers. Nini ngine unataka?
Nasi
Wewe uko na the prize bana. Achana na hii story.
Nasi alikulipia nyumba. So you also need somebody who will hold safe space for you.
Na atakwambia ukweli.
Atakwambia ukweli, and they will, when you keep on speaking about it, ama when you keep writing about it, write the truth of what you're seeing, ama ongea kuhusu the good, the bad, and the ugly. Constantly do it, because you will recognize the pattern. Utaiona.
You will see it.
Yeah.
So you just have to stop being oblivious.
Yeah.
Assume to oh well, ni mimi tuna overthink, ni overthinking zangu ndo nyingi. Maybe I can just I'll just get over it somehow. Ama this is something that happens each and every time. So like, what's the worst that can happen? And unfortunately, most of these things that happen when it comes to gaslighting, manipulation, all this emotional abuse, it develops into something later. It becomes physical because they can get away with it. Ndakupiga kofi na nikwambie pole, na nikwambie I didn't mean it, and then tomorrow we are together. So gaslighting and manipulation might seem like a very small issue, but if you really follow through with the repercussions, what comes afterwards, it is something big. So why don't we tame it from down here before we get to areas whereby we're dealing with domestic violence? Okay, so amazing. So why do you think that most people resort to gaslighting or manipulating others, especially when it comes to relationships? Like, out of all the options they have, you have to make sure that a relationship is built. Why do people feel the need itabidi tu mimi nitafute tu mimi sama nitafute tu venye nitakumanipulate ama nikugaslight ndo stick around?
We go back to upbringing. Upbringing ya mtu. How uli grow up wapi? Uliona nini? Because again nimesema, what happened to us inatushape. And then we have people who have learned behaviors ya ku gaslight watu. And then we have people wenye wako na desire to just control people. And we have people who have narcissistic tendencies.
Narcissism. Maybe we can explain that for the viewers, what narcissism is.
So a narcissistic behavior iko in the area of emotional abuse. In that this person mbele yetu ataka mzuri. Mbele ya watu, that person will gaslight you. That person will emotionally abuse you. That person will withhold money from you. That person, I just want to put it in plain and simple terms.
It's about me, and me. It's them.
It's about them. That person anaweza kunyima hata house rent. But that person mbele ya watu, they are an angel.
So you can't even explain it to people and be anakuanga hivi na hivyo like, no, this guy is a very nice person. What are you saying?
And the sad story is, and the saddest part is that we enable such people and we do not listen to victims.
Because of the facade that they have put
out.
Us.
We don't listen to the two sides of a coin. Tunasikiza one side of the story. And so in simple terms, a narcissistic person is somebody who will abuse you in all manner of forms. Lakini mbele ya watu, that person is an angel. And they will even repent, apige magoti, umsamehe, aseme sitawairudia tena. And they will continue to emotionally abuse you, physically abuse you. They will financially even abuse you. they will even sexually abuse you. Yeah.
So it goes in graduate in various forms. The more you let them do the small emotional abuse, it goes while taking levels. So you need to be careful. And you need to call it quits when it's time for you to call it quits. Wow, amazing. And when it comes to what are some of the long-term impacts of gaslighting?
Some of the long-term impacts we have people, ushaikutana na mtu mwenye anasemanga, I don't trust people.
Yeah, gonna trust issues.
Na sikupenda kwa huyo mtu. And then we have people who somebody anaweza kupatia hadi ulcers, anxiety, depression. You can become suicidal as a result of emotional abuse and gaslighting.
Because of the situation that they're putting you through.
And we can have even scenarios where you become sick. You become sick. And sometimes tunaweza angalia the mental aspect of it, but our bodies keep the score. So if you're constantly feeling undervalued, if you're constantly feeling wewe si wa dhamana, if you're constantly having to walk on eggshells mbele ya huyu mtu, your body will get to a point where it'll break. Utaenda hospitali and the doctor is telling you, let me just put you on this and this medication, but you're not sick. Hakuna ugonjwa inaonekana. And then you begin to doubt yourself. Tuliongea kuhusu perception. You begin to doubt. Kama ukukua mtu wa kujidoubt, you begin kujidoubt. And then self-esteem yako inaenda chini. Because unaweza kuwa umeng'ara alafu kunzana umekaaje, unaenda wapi? Unakaa ama kukompare na mtu
mbono vagi kama
mbono
tengenezangi nywele kama
mbono ujaka mbono wewe si mkonde kama.
So they try and like manipulate you beyond just the emotional, the physical, how you look, how you what, trying to make sure that they have destroyed you to a point whereby they are the ones who have a say in your life.
Exactly.
Wow, guys, remember the conversation is on gaslighting and manipulation, and we'll say we're getting to learn so much. So kama umekuwa ukisema msichana ni gaslight, I hope unaelewa sasa the meaning. Na kama kuna context around it, now you know kabisa kuna gaslighting yenye imekuwa happen, and we are going to learn how to figure out how to get out of such a situation. Now, if someone maybe is in a relationship, we can touch on how can they, is it wise for you to get out of a relationship that you're being gaslit? Ama you can try to talk to your partner, see if they can change. Ama what do you do in that scenario? You're in a relationship with someone, you're not in marriage yet, but you're dating, but you notice the tendencies, gaslighting and manipulation. But what advice would you give someone? Should they just like up and leave, or they should just give it time and just talk about it?
First of all, you have tulisema kuhusu kuangalia pattern. Ukishaangalia pattern, begin having conversations, because also somebody who gaslights you anatumianga so much emotional blackmail. So if you're planning to exit, ask yourself, begin having eye conversations. Like, ukifanya hivi, I feel this way. When I ask you a question, hauna majibu ama unajaribu kuniambia this way, I feel let down. Vile nilikwambia unikujie jana, you had an excuse. I felt this way. Have I statements. And the other thing, talk to somebody. Talk to a safe space.
Wow.
Be it a man, be it a woman, talk to a safe space. And then begin educating yourself. Sai tuko na a lot of ways we can educate ourselves. Begin educating yourself. Trust your gut instinct. Haiwezi kudanganya.
There's always something there.
And trust yourself that you have survived so much, that you will survive this too. Ask yourself, is this person worth it? Is this person worth my mental health? And then talk to somebody, journal about it, so that ukue na evidence, amekuwa akifanya A, B, C na D. Because tumeongea kuhusu overthinking. Unaweza fikiria, unaweza overthink, but in the real sense, your gut feeling will never lie to you. Even when somebody anakukosea, your gut feeling itakwambia something somewhere is amiss. Yeah.
So you should journal it. Actually, that is good, because remember, gaslighting and I work on changing your perspective on things. So if they do manage to change your reality, you'll start believing what they're saying and forget your own perspective. Now, where do we draw the line between overthinking and your gut instinct? Because najua saa zingine they might overlap each other. Kuna ile tu tendency ya maybe you've been in a relationship, imekuchoma, so you move on to the next without having fully healed from that. So any small sign ama anything small inakutrigger tu, najua hapa hivi kinaenda kuumana. So where do you draw the line between gaslighting ama it's just you overthinking?
Yeah. So I usually say, when you feel seen, when you feel safe, when you feel valued, when you feel loved. Imagine even I'm going to tell you about the nervous system. So when you feel seen, when you feel safe, when you feel loved and valued, do you know you will come to a point whereby whatever happens in that relationship, and then when you are in a healthy relationship, you will get to a point whereby you will know, this is me overthinking, and then have time to reflect. You know, sometimes tunatoka kwa nyumba mbio mbio, unakimbia, and sometimes we leave one relationship to the other because we are afraid of sitting in the rejection. And I think about rejection kama a box. Enye unaona easy Christmas box.
A gift box. A gift box.
So when you unwrap it, you will find very many treasures. And sometimes we are afraid of sitting in the rejection. We are afraid of sitting in the waiting period. And so we rush off to another relationship. We can rebound na ikue mzuri, and we can rebound na ikue mbaya, and then you can find yourself you're dating the same person over and over and over and over again. And so you need to sit down with yourself and evaluate, what are my weaknesses, what are my strengths, what are my values. Hata zikikuwa kidogo aje.
Just write them down.
If your value is respect, and you're not shown respect in this relationship,
there is a problem.
There is a problem. And you had a conversation about it. If it means that maybe you have an anxious attachment style, if communication is important to you, it should be important to the other person. If time is important to you, it should be important to the other person.
Wow. Amazing. So guys, remember we're talking about gaslighting and manipulation, and we're getting to learn very important insights concerning the topic. And we're about to take a very short break, but remember that we're going to be finishing up with the conversation after the break. So make sure that you don't go too far. We'll be coming right back after this very, very short break. And remember, keep the feedback coming in so that we can share with the rest of the viewers about your experiences when it comes to gaslighting and manipulation. And if you're a gaslighter and manipulator, we're not saying you're bad, wewe ni mbaya, utupe, hapana. We are bringing you closer, we're bringing you home so that you can be able to learn your patterns and change your ways, at least to put your drive, you could change your ways, because change has to start from you, okay? So we're going to take a very quick breather, but we'll be coming right back, so don't go too far.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Wiki hii tumeangazia hili.
Kule kuogopa kufanya maamuzi fulani ama chaguo fulani katika maisha yako inaweza kuwa njia ya kunyima watu baraka.
Naogopa bana, niingie katika ndoa alafu ndoa yangu yanguke, nifungue hii biashara alafu yanguke. Niende shuleni, alafu nikose kupita ule mtihani.
Wiki ijayo tutazungumzia urejesho. Je, ni nani atajumuika na kikosi chetu kujadilia hili? Usikose kutizama Biblia na Maisha. Mungu ni wa urejesho.
Step into the digital world of tomorrow at Goshen Medical and Technical College's School of Information Communication Technology. In the fast evolving world of information and communication technology, our School of ICT is designed to match the speed. Whether it's mastering the intricacies of ICT, pioneering innovation in computer engineering, achieving digital literacy with ICDL, crafting stunning visuals in graphics and design, building networks in computer networking, or staying up to date with the latest Microsoft packages, we have a program tailored to your digital dreams. Our programs are designed to keep you at the forefront of technology. We offer certificate and diploma courses in ICT, empowering you to choose the path that fits your tech-driven career goals. A minimum grade of C- or higher is required for diploma courses, D plain or higher for certificate courses, and D and below for artisan courses. We also offer bridging classes for English, Kiswahili, Biology, Mathematics, Chemistry, and Physics, allowing you to choose the path that fits your career aspirations. Visit our campus today or call us at 0750 264 044 or 0723 047 468. For more information, check out our website at www.goshencollege.ac.ke.
Welcome to Goshen Medical and Technical College, Yay!
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Amazing. Welcome back, guys, from that very short break. Remember, this is the relationship talk show with me, Sylvia Wanja. And the topic that we are having today is on gaslighting and manipulation. And we're getting to understand the basic concept when it comes to the relationships that we have, whether it's with our parents, whether it is the romantic relationships, and how best we're going to be able to navigate such. And if you're on that other receiving end, whereby you're the one who is carrying out the gaslighting, the manipulating, and you didn't know that you had that tendency, this is where you pick it up and you work towards changing that behavior and ukwe a good person, okay? No one wants to be deemed as bad. No one wants to be deemed as the villain in the story. Kila mtu anataka kuwa the hero in their own story. So we can always work on ourselves so that we can be good people. Sawa sawa? Amazing. So maybe we can go back to the conversation. Grace, we were talking about gaslighting, and now I wanted to know, how can you confront manipulator without things escalating? Because high chances are, if you bring it up, they might try to gaslight you on, like, wewe unakuja kuniambia nina, you know? So like, how do you handle them? Like, how do you confront them without it blowing over into something big?
Yeah. First of all, we will assume this person amekuwa, to get to this point where wanafika mahali wanawa confront, they have tried everything possible, and tumesema huwezi badilisha mtu. And so one of the things I will say is, first of all, acknowledge it may happen.
Yeah.
And then begin detaching yourself from this person. Emotionally, pole pole.
Yeah.
And then use I statements. Because you see, we've said about when somebody is emotionally abusing you, watatumia your emotions kuku abuse. So use I statements. Detach from this person, and also limit your access to them. Seek for professional help.
Yeah. Wow.
Use grounding techniques. Kama before you were using makombo, you pitched voice and it has not worked before, then you can just take your shoes off, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, have a conversation, and then begin making an exit plan
of how you're going to get out of such.
Yeah. And then surround yourself with people who are going to validate you. Yeah.
Who are going to remind you.
Who are going to remind you. Because we have people who have left emotional, abusive relationships, and people who have been gaslighting them.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have a safe space. And then after a short period of time, to amenda kutafuta inaitangwa nini? What do people go to look for? Why am I forgetting this name? Closure.
Okay, like, yeah, I need that closure so that I can move on.
Yeah. But I ask myself, do you think that person has answers for you? The answers that you're looking for, they do not have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just, the moment you decide to up and leave, you just up and leave.
Yeah. And also seek professional help. Talk to a therapist.
Yeah.
If you cannot afford it, talk maybe to somebody in church mwenye ako na something to do with guidance and counseling. But don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because again, and also when you're having conversations with this person, limit them. Limit them kabisa.
Like a boundaries.
Yeah, so that this person does not use what umewambia against you as you're having a conversation, and then they silence you, and then you go back to that loop again. Yeah.
And it's a loop that is hard to get out of.
It's
so
very
kurudishwa
hard.
tena kwa hiyo mnashinda tu mkizunguka around the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not fair even to you as
It's
a
not
person.
even fair.
And also I think it's important for us to emphasize on the importance of how you approach this person when is trying to manipulate you and gaslight you. Again, usikuwe sasa wewe ndio utakuwa the toxic person by approaching it in like niko na vita na wewe sasa. Unajaribu kunigaslight, unajua mimi kwetu sisi ni kina nani, you know, like pia the approach I think matters when it comes to you trying to solve a situation with a manipulator or someone who has gaslit you. Okay, so when it comes to workplaces, we said gaslighting can happen in so many environments. So when it comes to workplaces and work environments or formal environments, how do you think gaslighting manifests itself? Like, how can you pick it, and how can you maybe try to avoid situations that involve a lot of gaslighting? And also, if the person gaslighting ajue ni aje ata stay put na wache ku gaslight wengine.
Okay. Now, especially in work environments, it really happens. And one of the things that happens is we have people who shift blames. We have bosses who shift blames. We have colleagues who shift blames on others. And especially, like you notice, maybe you're the quiet type. Utajitetea, you're gifted. They're trying to ensure maybe you're not... they're trying to make themselves to look better than you. And then we also have people who divide and rule. In workspaces, we also have people who wanna withhold information. So if they withhold information, you get in trouble
because you didn't have access to
you
that.
You didn't have that access to that information.
So you didn't know what to do at what time.
Yeah. And we have people who publicly humiliate you in workspaces. And shame you and make you feel lesser than. Yeah, like, and so that is very hard, especially in workspaces. Yeah,
and especially when it comes to these public or formal setups, that's where you find people using that excuse of me, I'm like that, and like you have to get used to working with me like that. So maybe what would we tell to that person who manipulates and gaslights others? Tunajua there's someone tu mwenye somewhere at a stand up to you, what you're doing is not right. Like, you're trying to manipulate me, you're trying to, that is not right. But ako in denial, ako like, well, that's just me, you just have to get used to it, ama you just go find someone else. So maybe what would we tell them, especially when it comes to the work environment? Because a relationship you can choose to walk out of. A job, it might be hard because you need to pay the bills, and maybe you don't have an alternative or a plan B that you can, switch up to. So what can we tell them?
So I'll tell somebody that is working in that environment, talk to, if you have a safe space kama HR, you can talk to them. Secondly, if you have a friend, you can talk to them. Thirdly, you can work on your gifts and your talents. And also, as believers, pray. Take it to God in prayer. Take it to God in prayer and be like, God, this boss is frustrating me. This boss A, B, C, and D. Take it to God in prayer. Reflect about it. And then also you can begin having an exit plan.
Trying to figure out how you're going to.
Because every day unaamka unaenda kazi where somebody makes you feel lesser than, unakuwa mgonjwa, una feel frustrated, how ulikuwa ukifanya kazi, your ability to work inateremka, unakuwa demotivated. You used to go to work, you're now excited, but now you're no longer excited because now you're working to pay for your bills. And so get help if you can. If it's not possible for you kutoka your place at that moment, avoid that person as much as possible. Sometimes it's not possible. Also build your self-worth. Know your worth. Know that you're worthy, even if that environment's still worthy. Remember your values. Talk to God before you leave that house in the morning, and like declare, no weapon fashioned against me shall prosper. And every tongue that rises against me, I condemn. Like, speak such words. Yeah.
To yourself. And maybe then come up with a mantra.
Come up with a mantra.
To remind yourself that everything is going to be okay, and you're okay, and you're capable. And yeah. Wow, amazing. So when it comes to gaslighting and manipulation, especially in relationships, there's that aspect of trust being broken. And I know it's hard work to like try regain that trust, or getting back to a point whereby you can trust people again, especially if you have been emotionally abused. So how can someone ensure that maybe, or how can someone work towards regaining their trust back, like in a way that they can trust other people, they can get rid of the trust issues that they picked from the relationships they had with manipulators and gaslighters?
So first of all, acknowledge umepitia gaslighting. Kubali. Na tumesema utakubali na leo, na kesho it will take you time. And then after acknowledging, seek support from people. And tumesema if you don't have friendships that will give you that, seek support, even therapy, seek support from church. And also gaslighting hufanya mtu unaji-isolate. I will go back to pray about it. Seek the will of God. Seek the face of God. Roll if you have to. Scream if you have to. And get it out of your system. And then educate yourself. What is gaslighting?
What is manipulation?
What is manipulation? If you have never had a healthy relationship before, educate yourself on what a healthy relationship looks like. If kama haujawahi kuwa na an example of it, educate yourself. Like look for all sorts of information that is healthy, that can help you. Validate yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Find things that as a child would make you feel amazing. You might happy. You can take yourself out on a date. You can walk and just admire the sunset. I began to give a story of how I would watch the moon. To this day, I love watching moons. I love watching sunsets.
It makes it a place for you. Just love being there.
So get to those small things. Walk on the grass, like so that you can be able to begin your healing journey. That tumesema healing. When it comes to healing, healing is when now you no longer react from that pain. That you can react a different way far from what happened to you.
So healing is a journey, it's a process. It won't just happen immediately. Wow. And you know, just as for someone who has gone through gaslighting or manipulation before, and they have trust issues, the moment they even come, they get into a very healthy relationship, they might cause wonder watafanya kuwe na issues because of what they carried from the other bit. And I think that's also something important, that don't carry old baggage into a new relationship. And you need to go through that healing process so that you can avoid carrying the old baggage into a new relationship. Wow, very, very nice topic on gaslighting and manipulation. Now, maybe what word of advice would you give someone out there who has maybe gone through gaslighting, they're facing issues, or someone who has been doing that as a form of survival, they feel like they need to so that they can have their way, or they can have control somehow? What would you tell them?
I will first tell the person that has gone through that, reclaim your identity. Jua wewe ni nani. And that is why we have talked about, sometimes we take care of yourself. Take care of yourself physically.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself emotionally.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself spiritually.
Mentally.
Take care of yourself mentally. And also rebuild yourself, your sense of self. And also journal, write, talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Do not let it kill you on the inside. Na tumesema not just somebody.
Yeah.
A safe space.
Yeah, sure.
And also acknowledge. Meet yourself with grace and compassion. It happened.
Yeah.
He knew kweli. If you need to cry about it,
Just
please
cry.
cry about it. Yeah, and hold safe space for yourself. Reflect about it.
Yeah.
Pray. I will go back to praying. Because Sylvia, I believe hakuna shortcut.
Hakuna.
Pray, proclaim what you want to see.
Yeah.
If you have never seen a healthy relationship, like get all the Bible verses that have to do with relationships, declare it over yourself.
Yeah.
And umeongea kuhusu mantra. In that healing journey, declare it over yourself. Mimi sitawahi kutana na mtu toxic tena.
Yeah.
Mimi like I will walk in the healthy relationships. I like declare so many good things about yourself. Declare that God has good thoughts and thoughts about my life. Like declare the goodness of God in your life until you see it. Listen to people who have gone through it.
Yeah.
And usiskip. And
Your beat, yeah,
you
healing.
skip, and healing is very messy.
Yeah.
It's not linear. I usually compare healing to grief. You will cry, utajaribu kuji-question,
Yeah.
but at the end of it, you will become something very beautiful. And many times,
Yeah.
we are not able to sit in our healing journey because we do not believe that we are capable of healing from a toxic relationship from being gaslit. But imagine, I usually tell somebody, you have survived so much.
Yeah.
These two shall pass. Not right now. Right now, nikiambia mtu, it might not make sense. But these two shall pass.
It shall
And you will
pass.
be like gold. You will be like gold yenye imekuwa refined by fire. And now when you get your person, that will be a very healthy relationship. You began from a place of working on yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't work on yourself alone. You involved God.
Yeah.
You involved, like you took care of yourself. And there are good people out there.
Yeah.
Utakutana na yeye.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. Not everyone is bad.
Not
Just because
everybody,
umepitia a situation, a terrible
Yeah.
situation here,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that will be your story for the rest of your
Yeah.
life. Because I remember last week there is someone who said, yeah, mambo na wasichana amemalizana nayo kabisa. Probably he was speaking from a point of being heartbroken
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be your end. Work on
Yeah.
yourself. Prayer is very, actually that should be the first thing that you do. Pray to God about it so that he can help guide you. Now there's something that you had mentioned a little bit earlier on validation.
Yeah.
And we were talking about self-validation and how important it is, because I know that is a topic I think we might handle later in Relationship Tuesdays, because I think it's a very touchy subject,
Yeah.
because that's self-validation. Most people don't have it. You are waiting for someone else to validate you, ndio yenyewe you have work.
Yeah.
But it needs to come from within you, because there are times itafika, the person who validates you akona issues zake ana deal nazo. So it might not be at the top of their mind to tell you, na leo nakaa fiti, na leo umefanya show vizuri, na leo unatembea vizuri. You know, it might not be at the top of their head for them to do that for you. So maybe you can touch on the importance of self-validation as we come to the end.
Okay. When it comes to self-validation, I'll just share a bit about myself. I used to have very low self-esteem, like ile niko chini kabisa. And yes, my therapist will validate me.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I was like David. I began to encourage myself in the Lord. And I will, as a believer, it is how does God see you?
Yeah.
Because many times tukiangalia validation, tunaangalia huyu mtu ndio akona shida. What if this child never had their father tell them you're handsome? What if this girl never had parents that never actually had parents? What if they have what if the first boyfriend is the first person who ever validated them? Na validity yao ikakuwa from that space. And so you need to hold, first of all, hold grace for yourself. And you know, I used to be the person who couldn't even look at the mirror because I used to be, somebody had told me I was ugly. And I began to renounce that in the name of Jesus.
And you're very beautiful.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
And I began to tell myself, I am beautiful. Hata before nifike kwa hiyo kioo.
Yeah.
I began to say that I'm beautiful. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And itafika to a place where you renounce those things
that are being said.
Yeah, and you began to ask God, what is your mind? What do you think about me?
That is all that matters.
What as my father, what hati yako inasema nini towards me? Because a human being might tell you today you're beautiful and tomorrow so how can I, like, let's use gas now in a good way. How can I gas myself when nobody is telling me I'm beautiful? And so you have to know yourself and you have to self-reflect. You have we have a tendency of not working on ourselves. Tunaka ile kikombe yenye iko safi nje, ndani iko na mauji. And you have to intentionally work on yourself. The way tuna work on our education. Let us also work on ourselves. What happened to us? Let us sit in it. And if a father never validated you, begin to validate yourself. Begin spending time in the presence of God. Let God build you. Men are built in the place of prayer. Spend, like, what is your surrounding? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Hawezi shinda social media. I'm sorry to say, I'm really sorry and I'm not really sorry. You cannot, huwezi shinda social media comparing yourself. Or like your phone inaonyesha, like you've been on social media for 13 hours. When did you have time to take care of yourself? When did you have time to just walk and
reflect?
And reflect. When did you have time, because that is where validation itatokea. Itatokea like in very small bits, whereby I have never been validated, but nimeosha hii kikombe vizuri.
Imengara.
But my worth haiko juu nimeosha kikombe vizuri.
It's deeper than that.
It's deeper than that. I am beautiful, like with or without makeup on. I am worthy even without a job, because I will get a job. I'm working towards that. But you cannot neglect yourself. No, feel value. Before you are valuable to somebody else, you must be valuable to yourself. Time yako na wewe, are you valuable? Like, is it valuable to you?
Wow.
The people you spend time with, your environment, you might not have a lot, but you can afford biscuit ya 5 bob. That is just where you are.
Yourself. And that it's okay for that time. At
that time, it's okay. It's totally okay.
Even as you're working for
better. And then, like, kama uko na simu, begin looking at information sa iko kwa social media.
Very true.
Not kwa social media, iko kwa online, Google. We have all this information that is available for us. Begin working on yourself, even if you don't have a therapist. And then begin telling God, give me safe spaces.
People I can talk to.
People I can talk to. People who I can share. Safe people. Begin telling God, me, I will experience softness. Anybody who knows me will say, I'm experiencing softness. Begin proclaiming it. Renounce the things ushaambiwa. And begin building. Begin building and speaking life to yourself. Now when somebody validates you, haitakuwa like from a place of arrogance. No.
It's like, I already know my worth. I already know who I am. I already know how much I carry, how much potential I do have. So, wow. So we're not holding it against you that maybe you have been seeking validation from outside, because again, your environment sometimes shapes certain behaviors or certain patterns. But now this is where you can take that time to change. If you've been spending too much of your time on social media, which is not healthy, I'm not saying don't spend time on social media, but limit the time that you spend. Have time for yourself. Ile unasema me time, whereby it's your self-care moment. Enda ununue hiyo face mask ya 10 shillings. Si ile ya kuvaa hivi, hiyo ya you know, beauty and skincare products for the ladies in the house. Kama ni, you know, just make you doll yourself up, end out, hata kutembea tu town na urudi, you know, just do something that will make a difference, that will help you even know yourself more, give you a chance to meditate, give you a chance to self-reflect. And I think that's a very important topic. God willing, we might discuss it soon, so that we can be able to see how validation comes in, what's the best way to go about it. And yes, that brings us to the end of today's show on gaslighting and manipulation. Maybe we can get the relation tips, and then after the relation tips, we'll discuss them for a while, and then we will call it a wrap up hivi ndani. After getting did you know pia, kumbuka, we have tips, amazing tips for you. So for now, let us get the relation tips, and then I will be coming right back.
Hello and welcome to Real Asian Tips, and today we are going to talk about dealing with gaslighting. How to deal with gaslighting in relationship is crucial, especially since it can be such a deeply isolating experience. Here are some of the points you might consider when dealing with gaslighting. Number 1, recognize gaslighting early. The first step in handling gaslighting is being able to identify it. People often gaslight quietly at first, so recognizing the signs early is crucial for taking action. Number 2, strengthen self-trust. One of the major effects of gaslighting is diminishing self-confidence and self-trust. Strategies could include keeping a journal of events, making notes of conversations, or simply acknowledging that their feelings and experiences matter. Number 3, set boundaries. Clear and firm boundaries are often a gaslighter's worst enemy. When someone learns how to set boundaries without feeling guilty, they can take back their control in the relationship. Examples of boundaries could be refusing to engage in manipulative conversations, not tolerating disrespect, and making it clear that dishonesty won't be accepted. Number 4, seek support systems. Gaslighting can often make someone feel isolated or even feel like they are crazy, so having a support system is critical. Talking with friends, family, or even a therapist can help individuals stay grounded in reality. Therapy helps a person rebuild their sense of self-worth and work through emotional trauma caused by gaslighting. Number 5, walk away when necessary. Sometimes, no matter how much effort goes into trying to deal with gaslighting, the best option is to leave the relationship. Understanding when a relationship is unhealthy is important in dealing with gaslighting. This has been Real Asian Tips, and my name is Joyce Anderson.
Wow, amazing. So realize, discover when it is time for you to walk away, and actually walk away. Okay, not all situations you can be saved from. So if unaona hii situation ni ngumu sana, siezani nayo, learn when to walk away. Remember the first tip, very important, recognize the signs early, the moment you see it, and also work on your self-trust. Trust yourself. Usianze kujidoubt, labda na overthink, labda mimi naona vitu zangu, labda, because the moment umeanza kujishuku, trust you me, amekuweka kwa bag hivi na amefunga hiyo story. Na tulisema red flags zibaki red, usigeuze color zianze kuwa pink, zikae sijui nini, some fancy color. No, if it's a red flag, it's a red flag. So take it into account. Isikuwe unaona there's danger here but you're charging towards that danger. Okay, pia wewe take that responsibility of trying to take care of yourself, because no one can do it better for you. You are the one who can do it for yourself, okay? Even as we pray for God to take charge of your life and to also help guide you, even when it comes to the relationships that you make, how you interact with other people, which is very, very important. Thank you so much for coming, Grace. It has been a really, really amazing show. And I know viewers back at home wameweza kujifunza mambo mengi. And we're hoping, God willing, the next time we might have you, we will talk more about grief and loss, because I think it's a very, very wide topic that most people really struggle with and are trying to figure out a way to maybe come out of it, heal from it. Probably they're going through complicated grief like you did, like it just keeps recurring and you don't know how to like find a way out of it with everything that has been happening. A lot has been happening. So I think we might need to have you back for that as well. But for now, thank you so much. And sijui kama kuna salamu ya kutumia mtu, unajua kuna wakati mwingine mtu anakuja hewani anakosa kusalimiana, kuna leta issue pale nyumbani, anambia yani ulikuwa kwa TV na huwezi nisalimia, ni sawa hata usiniongeleshe. So maybe you want to say hi to someone. I'll give you this chance to say hi as we wind up.
Wow.
Yes.
Just put me on the spot. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I'm humble. It's an honor. Thank you also to the viewer.
Yeah.
Kwa kusikiza. I hope you have learned a thing or two. Run with something yenye imekusaidia leo.
Yeah.
Kwa kutuma salamu. I want to say hi to everybody and everybody who is watching us today.
Yeah.
And hi to my sister. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So with that brings us to the end of the show. Maybe we can get Did You Know as we wind up and as we call it a wrap up and any other relationship talk show. Thank you so much for being together with us. It has been an awesome show. So inasema, did you know that tomatoes have more genes than humans? Okay. Huyu mtu wa facts ni kama siku moja tutamleta hapo hivi kwa screen atuexplain hizi facts anatoa wapi. Na alizijua aje. Wow, okay. Did you know tomatoes have more genes than humans? Hiyo tunafaa kuexplainiwa statistically ndo tuelewe how that is possible. But wow, that is a very interesting fact that you can share with friends and family or colleagues depending on kwenye uko. Share that fact. Watoje pia uko in the know, you know what, some very interesting facts. Amazing. So that marks the end of today's conversation. Thank you so much for taking your time to be a part of the Relationship Talk Show. And I hope that this particular topic has been impactful to you. And share it with a friend. Don't keep this information to yourself. Share it with friends, share it with family, share it with colleagues, and it'll go a long way in transforming our lives so that we can become better people, okay? Amazing. So I'll see you guys next week, same place, same time, hapa ndani ya the Relationship Talk Show. My name is Sylvia Wanjari. Remember, leo ni African Tuesday, again, as I said. So if you have any song requests that you would like to send in, make sure you send them our way and we'll be playing them right here. But for now, enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye. Don't forget to compliment someone who is next to you. Mwambie anakaa vizuri leo. Yeah, put a smile on someone's face. Okay, bye-bye.